Boy, that was really rude of me. Well, I am so sorry. I turned my volume off too. Yeah, I got a call. I had agreed to do some notary work. I'm a notary. For any new listeners after the stunt I just pulled, 9-minute show I ran off. But to recap, today was the day I went to Homestead with the family. We went to do things and stuff like that. And the way I left it was, so when you're leaving the Keys, whenever you're going someplace, even though it's only 20 minutes, it's about 22 miles to get to Florida City from Key Largo, you have to make it, because you could be gone for like 2-3 hours. Because, like I said, there's only 2 lifelines into the Keys from Cartown Road and Overseas Highway from Florida City. And either of them get a serious accident, you're fucked. Yeah, you heard it right. You're fucked. Meaning you could be stuck there for hours and hours and hours. So we went up, the family. It's good to have some tunes and stuff like that, but it's nice when you travel with someone. It's like nothing. For those of you in a big city, when really 20 minutes is not that. 22 minutes to get someplace is not that bad, right? I mean, in a big city, you can go, but we're very lucky. Other people, when they have to, during marathon or Key West, you got to remember, coming up from Key West, it's a 3-hour trip. It is a 3-hour trip, 3 hours there and 3 hours back. So you're pretty much either, if it's not in Key West, which is a decent size small town, let's say, but Key Largo isn't it. What we have here in the Keys is a Publix and a Kmart that's closing. I think it's already closed. Kmart's already closed, but that's it. And Kmart sucks, as Dustin Hoffman said in Rain Man, and it's almost dead now. Who's that's so sad. We salute you. Well, we went up to Homestead, and when you go up to Homestead, you got to eat up in Homestead because you only have a certain amount of restaurants down here in the Keys, and if you want something, so we went to a place. Well, we went and did our things. We had to go to the bank, we had to go to Best Buy, and that was it. And then we said, well, since we're up there, we might as well go and have a nice lunch. And we went to this place called the Capri. Now, Florida City, Miami is kind of a Cuban city, right? Miami is a Cuban city. No matter what he said, it's a Cuban city. It's a Cuban-American city. Florida City is Mexican-American. Florida City and Homestead are Mexican-American. There's a large percentage of that. You have some gringos there. You have some Cubanos. You got African-Americans. But there's a lot of Mexican people living in that town. But they have a pretty decent Italian restaurant there for down here. Not maybe necessarily, but it was good here. And we went into the restaurant and we had a waitress who was on her very first day. And we were her very first customers. Yes, a young lady. I didn't get her name. Nice girl. You could tell she was a little nervous. She didn't know anything. And the person that's trained her was telling, and I've said to my wife and our daughter, I said, listen, this is her first experience, so let's make it good for her. So, because she's going to be putting up with some assholes. You always deal with a couple assholes and stuff like that. So it was always affirming and all that stuff. And I kind of knew it was her first day. And we were talking. We had a nice lunch. And right at the end of it, I kept on saying, you did a very good job. I really appreciate it. Everything was wonderful. And I said that to her, and she goes, "This is my first day." And I kind of knew it, She was eager to please, made sure she but there's certain things, that are telltale for people that are new, and it's one of them is being unsure of themselves. So I gave her a nice tip, 25-30%, on a decent bill too, and I told her, I said, you did a wonderful job. I was thinking about even leaving her a bigger tip, but then I thought, holy shit, if I'm the only one leaving her 40% for like weeks and weeks and weeks, that's going to suck. That's her first tip. She's going to think everything's bad. So I figure I better make it like a 30% tip, so it's not too crazy for her. And I told her, I said, you're doing a good job. Just, 90% of the job is attitude. And the lady that was training her was saying the same thing. I said, yeah, the people you run into, they're not very nice. They're a very small percentage, but you will remember them more than the other people. I told her. And I was just trying to be helpful. It's a tough job to get into. Really is a tough job to get into. And it's a tough job to come in, come into it right at the end of the pandemic. With all the things that, people not used to being out, some people used to being out, they're still wearing the mask, and, we're trying to be placating for, some businesses still have them. When employees are wearing them, sometimes it's nice that you wear them because you're doing it out of some like on the surface camaraderie. Like, hey, yeah, we realize you have to, but we're going to take these masks off when we sit down and stuff like that, and we try to maintain. I know people have a problem with the mask and stuff like that, but let me tell you something. I'm in Key Largo right now. The mask started disappearing, a month ago? Or a little longer? It's hard to tell. From the beginning, maybe 2 months ago. Well, maybe whatever it is. There are a shitload of people I noticed are getting some stomach fight now. Some kind of flu. And it's spreading like wildfire. I was going to say firefly. What? Hey, like I said, I don't drink anymore, so I don't know why I come up with some of these words. And there's a shitload of people. And maybe this, how long has it been? It's June, maybe it was May when they started removing the mask. Early May. It's about 14 months. Who knows? Maybe people's immune systems have not had them exposed to any like mild flu bugs, so their system's kind of down. But these people, they went down for like 2 days. And it's not COVID thing. It's the stomach flu with the diarrhea and vomiting and all that stuff. I didn't get it, luckily. I may be speaking early, and I'm not rejoicing in it. I'm just saying what I'm saying. So we're up in Homestead. We have a nice meal, and then we're on our way back. And that's the main thing you do when you come back. You're just looking. A lot of times, if you're up in Miami, there's people that work there every day and have to drive up the stretch and down the stretch. And it's just one accident, and your whole return home is changed. Right? It's 5:30 and you're right coming home, and someone gets in an accident. Some trailer overturns with a boat, blocking the highway. You're done for hours. And that just changes the nature of your day, doesn't it? I've always added extra value to a job that's near my house. Funny thing though, while I'm on the road today, I got 2 calls for my notary stuff. I had to do a vehicle identification number and mileage check for a tag thing for somebody, and then I got called into a tattoo parlor to have a mother who's getting her 2 children tattooed. I don't really understand that stuff. Who's getting wrist tattoos? I think it kind of lowers it's kind of, if you get a tattoo when you're young, you're pretty much, you're opening the door to more tattoos, right? Or maybe you're just getting out of the way. Oh, I got a tattoo. I'm done. I see, like I did. Remember on my show here, I had and where I did is a permission slip to get the child to get a tattoo. But where I was South of Heaven. We did a show from there, and I actually did the show while I was being tattooed. And I left my notary stuff up there, and now whenever they need it, I just run up there, and I guess they probably would hook me up with a couple other tattoos if I wanted them. But I'm 57, soon to be 58. I'm not going to get a shitload of tattoos. I realize the body changes a lot. I don't need something wrinkly. Maybe I should get a tattoo that reads differently when you get all wrinkly. Like one of those folding, if you ever, this is for the older audience, I don't know if the magazine's still around, but there was a magazine called Mad Magazine. And actually was a TV show, comedy show that was kind of competitor to Saturday Night Live, that they used to have a show. Jim Carrey was on it at one time. I'm just blown away, these younger people. I'm not saying that younger people listen to the show, but if they are. But this Mad Magazine was a humor magazine for kids from 10 to 15, or let's say 8. Well, you had to have at least a 9-year-old sense of humor. It was it was the youth version of National Lampoon, right? And then you go up to New Yorker thing where you don't even fucking understand the cartoons. But in Mad Magazine, back to the thing, on the back cover, they used to have a picture, and it was almost like a big collage, and it would be like an innocuous cartoon scene, and then you fold it in, and it would be another scene that you didn't see. It was kind of humorous and stuff like that. So a tattoo that when you're 20 looks like, hey, I like licking ass or something like that. And then when you get older, I said, could you, it gets wrinkled the same, could you please lick my ass? Something, if it wrinkles together and says it. I told you a joke one time. It's a guy in Jamaica. He goes to the bathroom. He's on his honeymoon. And he's really jealous of his wife. She's super attractive. And he's jealous of every guy. And he's in the bathroom in Jamaica. And he's standing at the urinal. He sees a guy standing next to him. And his wife's name's Wendy. And he looks down and he inadvertently looks down at the guy's penis, while he's his dick, when he's taking a piss, and he says he sees the tattoo, and he looks a little closer, and that doesn't get closer, that'd be kind of creepy. It says Wendy, and he recognizes the guy. He works at the resort they were staying at, and it looked like a fresh tattoo, right? So the guy gets a little huffy and goes, well, Wendy's not a Jamaican name. May or may not be, but he just thought that. So he started getting, started giving the guy the third degree, asking him, what's his deal? Why do you have Wendy tattooed on your penis? Blah, 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 blah. Do you have something to go on about that? And, are you screwing around with my wife? And the guy goes, hey, man, don't worry about it. No problem, man. Welcome to the have a nice day. See, get it? Because he's peeing and his penis is flaccid. But when it's turgid or erect, it says, welcome to Jamaica, have a nice day. With some of those letters making Wendy. Which I don't know how that would, the W, the E, the N, the D, and Y, would it be unwrinkled and all the other numbers. But that's just how the joke works. I had that in my repertoire since I was in high school. And that's pretty much the dirtiest jokes I tell. So, where were we? We were talking about the tattoo parlor. Yeah, and I go up there and I sign it. And there was a nice couple with their family. They were from the Midwest. I know exactly their name and where they're from, but I don't want to give it away. And they came down for a week and a half, and they were in Jupiter, Florida, on the Atlantic coast, and then they went on the West Coast, and then they went down to Key West, and then they were in Marathon, and now they're up in Keys. And I heard all the places they stopped in Florida, and they said, oh, this is their first time in Florida. And I said, oh, wow, you made it. How long of a vacation? And they go, a week and a half. And I go, holy crap. And they're catching a plane back tonight. It's kind of awfully close, isn't it? I have to go to the airport to take my wife and daughter pretty soon, and it's an international flight. I just don't get how you can not get there early nowadays. First of all, the cost of air travel, considerable, and to be able to miss a flight. And I used to drive people to the airport all the time. I remember before 9/11 and all that shit, before the enhanced security, a friend of mine's wife would always ask me, say, hey, could you give me a ride to the airport? And I go, yeah, sure. I give him. Sounds like a beginning of a porn, doesn't it? Give me a ride to the airport and make it worth your while. No, but I did it. They were friends of mine. So she was, I guess they were around 15 miles from the airport. I had to go all the way across the city through the downtown. So it's at least a half hour. And she would say, well, my flight's at 5. Could you pick me up at 4? And I go, how about 3:30? She goes, oh, you can't do it any late. You can't do it any later. I said, well, I want to give you a little buffer. It's going to take us, at 3:30, we're going to miss the beginning traffic, and at least, we'll get there, try to get there around 4 o'clock. She goes, I'm fine. She didn't care if she got to if the plane was leaving in 15 minutes, if she got to the gate of she didn't give a damn. Sometimes if it was 5 minutes, I got it. She was a road warrior. Those people. They don't give a shit. They'll just go and say, and they're the people that right before they close the door to the plane are running on. Kind of piss you off. Kind of like the cruise line people, right? Cruise line people, when they go in port call and they said, you better be back at 4 o'clock. We drop the gangplanes. We pull them in at 4 o'clock. And that's where we used to hang out and have drinks. That was great. We used to hang out on the side and just watch people run. You see them running up that dock. And sometimes they're pulling up, and you see them pulling up with a golf cart or something like that. And I've been on four cruises. There's other people have seen it. I know people have seen them when they drop those gangplanks and they start pulling away. That's it. And they usually have a 15-minute grace period. They get 15, 20 minutes. They say we're leaving at 4. They have that one down at the bottom of the ship. Not the very bottom. It's above the waterline. That'd be funny. You say, hey, listen, we got one, but you got to jump in the water and you got to come up from underneath and go through the freshwater opening or water opening on the bottom of the boat, like in the Titanic or the Poseidon Adventure. But I digress. So yeah, I had a busy day. I had to go out and do this, and that's what I did when I left for that live call. I had promised to do that signing, and I assumed they were coming up from Marathon, and they had called me an hour before. But they called me from Layton, which is only about 40 miles south of here. So they made it really quick. They made it about 45 minutes. I thought they were going to be an hour and 15 minutes, so I thought I was going to have like an extra do that last show 20 minutes. You see me put a picture of Putin on the cover of this episode. I guess if I was in Russia, I would be in jail right now, so it doesn't make me particularly brave. But Putin does suck. And it sucks that our president has to go and talk to them because the guy's the leader of a country, leader of a country that has nuclear weapons. Because otherwise, if they didn't have nuclear weapons, they wouldn't see them. I think my girls just got home. So there's going to be a little noise coming in when that door opens up. So don't be surprised, and I'll have to explain to them when they come in to watch what they say. But it bothers me to no end that we have to treat with a man who kills his political opponents, imprisons the opposition, restricts, restricts voting, and is supposedly democratic. It's an autocratic country, Russia right now. And Putin just declared, I forgot the guy's name, Navalsky, or whatever his name. He poisoned him, and the guy went to Germany to be treated, and then he came back, and as soon as he came back, he was arrested. A bold guy. I don't know what the purpose of the guy, Navalsky, or whatever it was, why he came back to be imprisoned. I guess maybe they threatened his family or something like that. I just think this sucks, And, I'm not here that anything I say doesn't really affect Putin. But I did notice last week I had 6 downloads in the Russian Federation. And I'm thinking, well, I better let them know that I'm not a big fan of their president right now, or premier, whatever. They have a 2-tier system. They have a president and a premier, I think. So they split their head of state and their head of government. I think Putin may be both. And it's not that I don't want a following in Russia. I just don't want you to be listening for a long time and say, wait a second. They're saying shit about our president. He's saying shit about our president. And I say, just let it get off my chest. But I love Russians. I do. I think they're wonderful people. The Russians that I met, I went to school in Philadelphia, went to Temple University, a couple Russian girls. I haven't dated a Russian girl, but my wife is Polish. And that's, don't call her Russian. Oh, here they come through the door. So right now, I'm going to start signing up. I feel like it's the Interior Ministry troops, police are coming through the door right now, and they're going to bust me. So I better sign off. Thank you for listening to the show. This is Jim the Keys Bartender. It's a short show now, but in combination with the second show. You want to say hi, Sky?
Hi. Hello.
That's my daughter. Okay. I told. Yep. Oh, you can say something,
hi,
huh?
Mom.
You can say hi. Say hello. I'm going to be talking. Talk. Talk. You got your beauty supplies? Supplies. Okay. Thank you very much. If you do like the show, please share the show with your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, and like us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And if you have any questions, send them to excuse me. Send them to Jim, Jim, at keysbartender.com. And I'd like to thank all my listeners from all over. So take care. Bye.